On a cold, somber night, the city lights barely illuminated the empty streets. The elongated shadows of the buildings created a desolate and silent atmosphere. In a dark corner next to a dumpster, a couple with faces hardened by life made a terrible decision. "We have to do it. There is no other option," said the man, his voice laden with a cold determination. The woman, with a look of revulsion and relief, dropped a small bundle on the ground. Inside the bundle, a newborn baby with a malformation in his legs whimpered weakly, oblivious to the cruelty that surrounded him. "I can't stand this anymore," murmured the woman, turning away in disgust. The man nodded, showing no remorse. "It's better this way. We cannot take care of him, and I don't want to have a child like that." The ease with which he uttered those words revealed a heart hardened by selfishness and indifference. Without a backward glance, the couple walked away, leaving the baby alone in the cold night, abandoned to his fate. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, Dr. Benjamin, a renowned orthopedic surgeon, was walking home after a long day at the hospital. His car was in the shop after a minor accident, and fatigue overwhelmed him. As he walked along the lonely streets, his thoughts wandered among the numerous responsibilities and challenges he faced each day. Suddenly, a faint sound interrupted the silence of the night. It was a soft, desperate cry. Curiosity and concern seized Benjamin, who followed the sound until he found the little bundle next to the dumpster. "My God!" he exclaimed, bending down quickly to pick up the baby. Upon opening the bundle and seeing the child's deformed legs, he felt a mixture of compassion and anger at the cruelty of those who had abandoned him. Carefully, he wrapped the baby in his coat and whispered, "Don't worry, little one. I'll take you somewhere safe." Benjamin, with the baby in his arms, walked briskly towards his home. Along the way, he couldn't stop thinking about how anyone could abandon such a helpless creature. Upon reaching his home, he prepared a warm and welcoming place for the child, making sure he was comfortable and safe. As he cared for the baby, Benjamin decided to call him Daniel. Over the following weeks, he dedicated himself to seeking information about Daniel's health condition and providing him with the necessary medical care. With unwavering dedication, Benjamin devoted himself to caring for and raising Daniel. Each day, the doctor would wake up early to prepare breakfast, ensuring that Daniel received adequate nutrition for his development. Despite the difficulties presented by Daniel's condition, Benjamin never lost hope and always found a way to adapt his home to make it more accessible and comfortable for his adopted son. One morning, as Benjamin was dressing Daniel, he observed how the child began to understand and adapt to his surroundings. Daniel, though still very young, already showed signs of curiosity and a strong desire to explore the world around him. "Today we are going for a walk in the park, Daniel," Benjamin said with a smile. The child, his eyes shining, waved his arms in glee. The park became a haven for both, a place where they could share quiet moments away from the worries of everyday life. During one of those walks, Benjamin noticed Daniel's fascination with trees and birds. The doctor took advantage of these moments to teach him about nature, pointing out different types of plants and birds and explaining their importance in the ecosystem. Although Daniel did not understand all the words, his attention and enthusiasm showed that he was absorbing every lesson. Over time, Benjamin realized that the relationship he was forming with Daniel was not only beneficial to the child, but also to himself. Benjamin, who once felt lonely and consumed by his work, now found a new reason to smile every day. Daniel's laughter, his attempts to babble words, and his tender hugs filled the home with a warmth that Benjamin had never known. However, not everything was easy. Daniel began to notice that his legs didn't work like those of other children. On a walk in the park, he observed a group of children running and playing hide-and-seek. His eyes, full of innocence, turned to Benjamin with an unspoken question, a mixture of curiosity and sadness. Benjamin knelt beside him, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Daniel, we are all different in some way. What matters is what we have in our hearts and how we treat others." Daniel listened attentively, although he did not fully understand his father's words. But the loving tone and the loving look in Benjamin's eyes gave him the security he needed. At that moment, Benjamin decided that he would do everything possible to ensure that Daniel had a full and happy life, regardless of his physical limitations. Evenings at home became special times between father and son. Before bed, Benjamin would read stories to Daniel, creating a routine that both eagerly anticipated. With each story, Benjamin taught lessons of courage, friendship, and compassion. Daniel, curled up under the blankets, listened intently, letting his father's words carry him to imaginary worlds full of adventure and learning. "Dad, tell me again the story of the brave knight," Daniel often asked. Benjamin, with a smile, began to tell the story of a knight who, despite not having perfect armor, always found a way to help others and demonstrate his bravery. The story resonated deeply with Daniel, who saw in the knight a reflection of what he himself wanted to be one day: brave and strong, despite his differences. With each passing day, Benjamin saw Daniel grow not only in stature, but also in spirit. The boy showed an inner strength that inspired Benjamin to keep going. Every small achievement of Daniel's, from learning to use a spoon to taking his first steps with help, was celebrated with enthusiasm and pride. One day, as they watched the sunset together from the window of their house, Benjamin realized how much his life had changed since Daniel arrived. "Daniel, you are the best gift I have ever received. Thank you for filling my life with love and hope," he said, hugging the boy tenderly. Daniel, still not fully understanding the meaning of his father's words, responded with a warm hug, feeling the love and security that only Benjamin could offer. The days passed, and Daniel grew up in the love and protection of Benjamin. The time came when Daniel had to start school. Benjamin, with a mixture of excitement and concern, prepared everything for Daniel to have a good start. However, both knew that the experience would not be easy due to Daniel's physical condition. On the first morning of school, Daniel, in his immaculate uniform and new backpack, walked alongside Benjamin to school. Although he tried to appear brave, a mixture of fear and curiosity was reflected in his gaze. Benjamin, sensing his son's tension, leaned down and whispered, "Remember, Daniel, you are special because of who you are, not because of what others may think." Upon arriving at the school, Daniel was greeted by his new classmates. The children's curiosity soon turned into looks of strangeness and, in some cases, hurtful comments. During recess, while Daniel tried to join a group of children playing, one of them scoffed, "Why don't you run like us? Oh, that's right, you can't." Daniel, hurt by the words, retreated to a corner of the playground, feeling tears welling up in his eyes. The cruel words echoed in his mind, and for the first time, Daniel felt the weight of his difference in a painful way. Benjamin Tuns, concerned about how Daniel would face these challenges, anxiously awaited his return home. When Daniel arrived, his eyes red and his expression sad, Benjamin hugged him and listened attentively as the boy recounted the day's events. "Dad, why am I different? Why are they laughing at me?" Daniel asked in a small, trembling voice. Benjamin felt a pang in his heart but tried to remain calm. "Son, people are sometimes afraid of or don't understand what is different. But that doesn't mean you're any less valuable. You are strong and brave, and you should not let the words of others make you feel bad. What matters is how you see yourself and how you treat others." Benjamin's words offered Daniel temporary comfort, but the boy knew that facing school each day would be a constant challenge. Determined to help his son, Benjamin began researching different methods and technologies that could improve Daniel's mobility and make his life easier. During his long nights of research, Benjamin contacted several colleagues in the fields of orthopedics and biomedical engineering. Together, they began to develop prototypes of devices that could help Daniel walk with more ease and confidence. Every advance, no matter how small, filled Benjamin with hope and determination. Meanwhile, at school, Daniel continued to face teasing and bullying from some classmates. However, he also found friends who accepted and supported him. One of them, a boy named Sam, became his best friend. Sam, with his kind and protective nature, defended Daniel from the bullies and accompanied him during recess, making sure he was not alone. One afternoon, after a particularly difficult day, Daniel and Sam were sitting in the park. "Don't pay attention to them, Daniel. You're amazing just the way you are, and those who make fun of you simply don't understand," Sam said firmly. Daniel, though still sad, smiled at his friend. "Thank you, Sam. I don't know what I would do without you." That night, as he watched Daniel fall asleep, Benjamin made a decision. He would do everything in his power to ensure that his son could live without the limitations imposed by his condition. Benjamin's determination strengthened, and with renewed energy, he continued working on the project that promised to change Daniel's life. Weeks passed, and Benjamin, with tireless dedication, immersed himself in the exoskeleton project. He worked long hours in his laboratory, collaborating with fellow engineers and doctors, all motivated by the possibility of improving Daniel's quality of life. Each component, each adjustment, was made with the utmost care and precision. Finally, the day of Daniel's 8th birthday arrived. Benjamin had kept the exoskeleton project a secret, hoping to surprise his son with the gift that would change his life. The house was decorated with balloons and streamers, and a small table was laden with sweets and a birthday cake. "Happy birthday, Daniel!" exclaimed the friends and family who had gathered to celebrate the special day. Daniel, with a radiant smile, enjoyed the company and the love that surrounded him. After singing "Happy Birthday" and blowing out the candles on the cake, Benjamin approached Daniel with a large, mysterious box covered in cloth. "Daniel, this is a very special gift. I want you to open it carefully," he said, his voice trembling slightly with emotion. Daniel, his eyes filled with curiosity, removed the cloth and opened the box. Inside, he found the exoskeleton, a lightweight, futuristic device that gleamed under the room's lights. Daniel's eyes widened in surprise and excitement. "Is this for me, Dad?" Daniel asked, barely able to contain his joy. "Yes, son. This is something I've been working on with my colleagues. It will help you walk without crutches," Benjamin explained, his smile full of pride and hope. Carefully, Benjamin and his colleagues helped Daniel put on the exoskeleton. The process was slow and meticulous, making sure every part was snug and secure. Daniel, though a little nervous, was determined to try the new device. "Okay, Daniel, when you're ready, try to take a step," Benjamin said, his eyes fixed on his son. Daniel, his heart pounding, took his first step with the exoskeleton. At first his movements were clumsy and hesitant, but with each step he gained more confidence. Friends and family watched in silence, some with tears in their eyes. Suddenly, Daniel took a firmer step, and then another and another. Soon he was walking around the room, his movements becoming more confident and fluid. The room erupted in applause and cheers. "Dad, look, I'm walking!" Daniel exclaimed, his face illuminated by a smile of pure happiness. Benjamin D., tears streaming down his cheeks, hugged his son. "I'm so proud of you, Daniel. You are a true fighter," he said, his voice choked with emotion. The exoskeleton not only allowed Daniel to walk, but it also gave him a newfound independence. He was able to participate in games and activities with his friends, something he could only dream of before. Every day, Daniel practiced and improved his ability to move with the exoskeleton, feeling stronger and more self-assured. Daniel's accomplishments not only impacted his life, but also inspired other children and families in similar situations. The story of Daniel's exoskeleton spread quickly, attracting the attention of media outlets and medical organizations. One day, a journalist visited Benjamin and Daniel's house to do a story about their incredible journey. "Dr. Benjamin, what motivated you to create this exoskeleton for your son?" the journalist asked, holding a microphone in front of Benjamin. "My motivation has always been the love for my son. I wanted to give him the opportunity to live a full life without limitations. Seeing Daniel walk and be happy is the greatest reward I could receive," Benjamin replied, looking at Daniel with pride. Daniel, sitting next to his father, added, "My dad has always taught me to never give up. This exoskeleton not only helps me walk, but it gives me the confidence to face any challenge." With the success of the exoskeleton, Benjamin and his team began working on improving and adapting the device to help more children with physical disabilities. Benjamin's house became a center of innovation and hope, where new technologies were developed that promised to change lives. The relationship between Benjamin and Daniel was further strengthened through this process. Each of Daniel's achievements was a celebration, and each challenge an opportunity to grow together. Benjamin's love and dedication not only transformed his son's life, but also created a legacy of hope and compassion that would inspire many. The success of the exoskeleton developed by Benjamin and his team did not go unnoticed. The news spread rapidly, attracting the attention of various organizations, including the military. One day, while Benjamin was working in the laboratory, he received an unexpected call. "Dr. Benjamin, this is Colonel Thompson from the Military Research Department. We have heard about your innovative exoskeleton and are very interested in discussing possible collaborations," said the voice on the other end of the line. Benjamin, surprised by the call, listened attentively as the colonel detailed how the exoskeleton could be adapted for military use, enhancing the capabilities of soldiers on the battlefield. The offer included not only substantial funding, but also access to resources and advanced technologies. Although initially hesitant, the idea of being able to perfect his creation and expand its application began to fascinate Benjamin. The prospect of receiving significant funds would also allow him to make progress in other medical research. However, there was something unsettling about the proposal that he couldn't ignore. That night, Benjamin sat with Daniel in his study. Watching his son practice with the exoskeleton, he couldn't help but feel a mixture of pride and concern. Daniel had blossomed with the help of the device, and his happiness was the most important thing to Benjamin. "Dad, why are you so thoughtful?" asked Daniel, noticing the worried expression on his father's face. Benjamin sighed and replied, "Today I received an offer from the army. They want me to adapt the exoskeleton for military use. It could mean a lot of money and resources, but I'm not sure if it's the right thing to do." Daniel, still young but with surprising wisdom, looked at his father seriously. "Dad, you've always taught me that we should use what we have to help others. Would that help people like me?" Daniel's question resonated in Benjamin's mind. The military offer promised advancements and resources, but it also diverted the original purpose of his creation. However, the temptation to take his technology to the next level was strong. In the following days, Benjamin was immersed in a whirlwind of meetings and presentations. The military showed how the exoskeleton could transform field operations, increasing the efficiency and safety of soldiers. Each presentation was accompanied by promises of funding and development opportunities. As the meetings progressed, Benjamin began to distance himself emotionally from Daniel. He spent more and more time in the lab and in military offices, obsessed with perfecting the design and adapting it to new specifications. Work consumed him, and long nights of research became his new normal. Daniel, meanwhile, noticed his father's growing absence. Although he continued to progress with the exoskeleton and enjoyed his newfound independence, the lack of attention and shared time with Benjamin began to affect him. Solitary dinners and weekends without his father became commonplace. Benjamin, consumed by the demands of his military project, spent less and less time at home. Solitary dinners and weekends without his father's presence became commonplace, and Daniel began to feel like a shadow in his own home. At school, Daniel also noticed the difference. The other children looked at him with curiosity, but few approached him to play. Although he had his friend Sam, Daniel longed for his father's attention and support. Every day when he returned home, he hoped to find Benjamin waiting for him, but he often found the house empty and silent. One afternoon, after a particularly difficult day at school, Daniel decided to talk to his father. He found Benjamin in his office, surrounded by papers and blueprints, his face serious and focused. "Dad, can you talk for a moment?" Daniel asked, his voice timid but hopeful. Benjamin looked up from his documents, his expression surprised. "Of course, Daniel. What's wrong?" he said, though his mind was still on his work. "It's just, I miss you. We don't spend time together like we used to. I know your work is important, but so am I," said Daniel, feeling tears threatening to spill. Benjamin sighed and ran a hand through his hair. "I know, son. I've been very busy, but I promise I'll try to make more time for us," he replied. Although inwardly he knew that keeping that promise would not be easy. Benjamin's words offered temporary comfort, but as the weeks passed, Daniel saw little change in his father's routine. Desperate to fill the void, Daniel began to seek solace elsewhere. At school, he met a group of older boys who, although not the best influence, offered him the attention and sense of belonging he craved. Daniel started skipping classes and spending more time with his new friends. Innocent outings turned into late nights, and mischief into increasingly risky behavior. Daniel's academic performance began to decline, and notes from teachers arrived at the house with increasing frequency, without Benjamin having time to read them. One night, Daniel came home much later than usual. Benjamin, she worried, was waiting for him in the living room. "Where have you been, Daniel? It's very late, and it's not safe to be out at this hour," he said with a mixture of concern and annoyance. Daniel, with the typical rebelliousness of a teenager in trouble, replied with disdain. "It doesn't matter. You're never here anyway," he said, before running up the stairs and locking himself in his room. Benjamin remained in the living room, feeling a mixture of sadness and guilt after the confrontation with Daniel. He knew that the situation had reached a critical point and that he had to act before he lost his son completely. The next day, Benjamin received a call from Daniel's school. It was the principal, Mrs. Rodriguez, who wanted to speak with him about Daniel's recent behavior. "Dr. Benjamin, we need to discuss some issues concerning Daniel. He has been missing classes, and his academic performance has declined markedly. Additionally, we have noticed that he has been associating with a group of boys who are not the best influence," said the principal with concern. Benjamin, feeling a pang of remorse, replied, "I understand, Mrs. Rodriguez. Thank you for letting me know. I will do everything I can to resolve this." That afternoon, Benjamin decided that he had to make a drastic change in his life and priorities. He knew that his obsession with the military project had put his relationship with his son and Daniel's emotional stability at risk. Arriving home, Benjamin found Daniel in his room, staring out the window with a melancholic expression. "Can we talk, Daniel?" Benjamin asked, his voice laden with sincerity. Daniel turned, surprised by his father's serious tone. "What do you want to talk about?" he asked cautiously. "About us. I know I have failed you by not being present, and I want to change that. I have decided to give up my involvement in the military project so I can focus on you. You are the most important thing in my life, and I don't want to lose you," Benjamin said, his eyes reflecting a mixture of determination and regret. Daniel, moved by his father's words, felt a flicker of hope. "Really, Dad? Are you serious?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. "Yes, son. I am here for you, and we are going to get through this together," Benjamin assured him, reaching out to hug his son. The first few weeks were a challenge. Daniel, though grateful for his father's decision, was still struggling with the consequences of his bad decisions. Benjamin, too, determined to help his son find his way back, sought the help of a counselor specializing in adolescence. The first few weeks of recovery were difficult, but little by little Daniel began to find his way back. With the help of the counselor, he began to understand and manage his emotions better. Each session was a step closer to healing both emotionally and mentally. Benjamin, always by his side, made sure Daniel knew he was not alone in this process. Finally, the day came when Daniel decided to go back to school. On the first morning of his return, Benjamin accompanied him to the entrance, giving him words of encouragement. "Remember, son, it doesn't matter what others think. The important thing is that you are doing the best for you." "I am very proud of you," Benjamin said, squeezing Daniel's shoulder gently. Daniel, with mixed feelings of nervousness and determination, nodded. "Thank you, Dad. I'll do my best," he replied, entering the school with a firm step. At first, reintegration was not easy. Some classmates still whispered and made comments, but Daniel remained focused on his studies and catching up. With each passing day, he became more confident and began to reconnect with old friends, especially Sam, who had always been by his side. Sam was a great support for Daniel during this time. At recess, he made sure to include him in games and to be aware of any signs of harassment. "Daniel, you are stronger than you think. Don't let anyone make you feel less," Sam would often tell him, bolstering his friend's confidence. While Daniel was working hard at school, Benjamin continued his research on the exoskeleton. His commitment to helping his son led him to develop significant improvements in the design. He spent long hours in the lab, but this time he made sure to balance his time so as not to neglect Daniel. One afternoon, Benjamin received a call from a children's hospital interested in his exoskeleton. The news filled him with hope and enthusiasm. He knew that this technology could not only change Daniel's life, but also that of many other children with physical disabilities. He shared the news with Daniel over dinner, who responded with a wide smile. "Dad, that's incredible. I'm very proud of you. Is there any way I can help?" Daniel asked, showing genuine interest in his father's work. Benjamin, touched by his son's enthusiasm, nodded. "Of course, son. Your support and your ideas are always welcome. Together, we can make a big difference," he said, feeling a renewed energy and purpose. Over time, Daniel also found his own mission. Inspired by the difficulties he had overcome and the help he had received, he decided that he wanted to help other children who were in similar situations. He began to participate in charitable activities and to speak at school events about the importance of resilience and perseverance. One morning, During a school assembly, Daniel stood up in front of his classmates and teachers. "I have learned that no matter how difficult the circumstances, there is always a way forward. We all deserve a chance to be happy and achieve our dreams," he said, his voice clear and confident. The audience was impressed by his maturity and courage. Daniel's words resonated deeply, inspiring many to reflect on their own lives and challenges. Benjamin, present at the event, looked at his son with indescribable pride. He knew that Daniel had found his purpose, and that together they could accomplish great things. The story of Daniel and Benjamin began to spread, attracting the attention of various organizations and media outlets. One day, a journalist visited their home to do a story. "Daniel, what motivated you to want to help other children?" she asked, holding a microphone in front of him. "I believe we all deserve a chance to live a full and happy life, regardless of our circumstances. I want to be the voice for those who cannot speak for themselves and make sure they get the help they need," Daniel replied with determination. The story was a hit, and soon both Daniel and Benjamin began receiving invitations to speak at events and share their story. Each presentation was an opportunity to inspire and motivate others, and they both committed to continuing to work for a greater cause. Benjamin continued to perfect the exoskeleton, and with the support of various medical institutions, he was able to implement his technology in various hospitals. The lives of many children changed thanks to this device, and each time he saw a child take their first steps with the exoskeleton, Benjamin remembered why he had begun this journey. One day, while Benjamin was reviewing some documents in his office, he received a call from Colonel Thompson, the same officer who had offered him the military collaboration months earlier. "Dr. Benjamin, we are very interested in moving forward with the exoskeleton project. Would you be able to meet with us this week to discuss next steps?" Colonel asked. Benjamin looked out the window, reflecting on all that had happened since he had accepted that offer. He thought of Daniel, the children who had been helped by his invention, and the true reasons that led him to create the exoskeleton. With firm resolve, he replied, "Colonel Thompson, I'm sorry, but I've decided not to continue with the military project. My initial goal was, and still is, to help children with disabilities lead better lives. Thank you for the opportunity, but I must follow my own path." The colonel, surprised but respectful, replied, "I understand, Dr. Benjamin. We are sorry to hear this, but we respect your decision. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors." After hanging up the phone, Benjamin felt an inner peace that he had not experienced in a long time. He had made the right decision. His purpose had always been to help Daniel and other children, and now he could focus completely on that mission. With renewed determination, Benjamin and Daniel threw themselves into the task of improving and expanding the exoskeleton. They collaborated with hospitals, schools, and charities to ensure that the devices reached the children who needed them most. Each new success story reminded them of the importance of their work and gave them strength to carry on. One afternoon, while they were working in the lab, Daniel had an idea. "Dad, how about we organize a charity event to raise funds and awareness for our project? We could invite the children who have been helped by the exoskeleton and share their stories," he suggested enthusiastically. Benjamin, impressed by his son's maturity and commitment, nodded. "That's an excellent idea, Daniel. We will organize the event and make it something special for everyone." For the following weeks, they worked hard on the preparations. They contacted families, designed presentations, and secured a suitable venue for the event. The community responded with enthusiasm, and soon the charity event became a reality. On the day of the event, the hall was filled with children, parents, doctors, and members of the community, all gathered to support the cause. Benjamin and Daniel welcomed the guests, sharing stories and demonstrations of the exoskeleton. The children who had been helped by the device took the stage to share their experiences, moving everyone present. Daniel, with newfound confidence, took the microphone and addressed the audience. "Thank you all for being here today. This project has changed my life and the lives of many other children. We want to continue helping more people, and with your support, we can make it happen," he said, receiving a warm and sincere ovation. Benjamin looked at his son with pride, knowing that they had come a long way together. After the event, many people approached them to offer their support and collaboration, which allowed them to further expand their reach. Over time, the relationship between Benjamin and Daniel grew even stronger. They shared not only a project, but a life mission that united them deeply. Every achievement and every challenge they faced together strengthened their bond, demonstrating that love and dedication could overcome any obstacle. One evening, while having dinner at home, Benjamin looked at Daniel and said, "I'm very proud of you, son. You have grown so much and become an inspiration to many. Thank you for being by my side on this mission." Daniel smiled and replied, "Thank you, Dad. I couldn't have done it without your support. Together, we are making a real difference." As they moved forward, Benjamin and Daniel dedicated themselves to continuously improving the exoskeleton technology and finding new ways to help more children. They participated in conferences, collaborated with experts, and never stopped looking for ways to innovate and improve. Their work not only transformed the lives of many children, but also created a community of support and hope. Parents of children with disabilities found in Benjamin and Daniel an example to follow and a source of inspiration, and together they worked to build a more inclusive world full of opportunities for all. The road was not always easy, but every challenge was an opportunity to learn and grow. Benjamin and Daniel showed that with love, determination, and a clear purpose, it is possible to overcome any obstacle and create a positive impact on the world. Their story became a testament to the power of family love and the importance of never losing sight of what truly matters. Thus, day by day, Benjamin and Daniel continued their mission, knowing that they were making a real and significant difference in the lives of many. And with each step they took, they reaffirmed their commitment to working together for a future full of hope, love, and possibilities. The story of Benjamin and Daniel is a moving journey of love, resilience, and transformation. From the moment Benjamin decides to adopt Daniel, a child abandoned due to his disability, a series of events are set in motion that not only changes their lives but those of many others. Daniel's journey from insecurity and isolation to becoming a confident and committed young man is truly inspiring. Through his personal struggle and the unconditional support of his father, Daniel displays a courage and strength that defy adversity. His ability to overcome physical and emotional obstacles resonates deeply, showing that with love and support, it is possible to achieve the seemingly unattainable. Benjamin, on the other hand, is an example of sacrifice and dedication. His decision to give up personal ambitions to focus on the well-being of his son underlines the importance of the right priorities. His evolution as a father, from a man consumed by his work to someone who understands and values the essence of human relationships, is a powerful reminder of what it means to be truly present in the lives of those we love. If you find the journeys of our characters inspiring, we would love to hear your thoughts. Please like this video and leave a comment to share how their stories have touched your heart. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode of these uplifting tales that highlight the power of connection, human bonding, and resilience. By subscribing, you'll join a community of viewers who believe in the strength of the human spirit. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to sharing more heartfelt stories with you.